Dennis Lillee is a name which used to make the finest batsmen shudder. He was not only one of the fastest bowlers in the world, but also one of the most intelligent. He developed the ability to swing the ball, move it off the seam, whip in the bouncer and the yorker. And to achieve all this, Dennis Lillee constantly worked on and developed his bowling action. At the start of his career, it was a wild charge to the crease. But soon it became a smooth, rhythmical crescendo of speed. Dennis had a fast bowler's heart, full of determination, with a never-say-die will to win, even when doctors doubted that he would ever recover from a stress fracture of the vertebrae. Dennis Lillee played the role of aggressor as well as any great fast bowler in history, and his 328 test wickets rank him among the very best in the game.
I think the main thing is if you've got an enthusiasm to bowl fast, you've then got to sort out whether you can bowl fast. I mean, it doesn't matter if you want to bowl fast and your body says you can't, then there's no point in it, obviously. So you get out in the field or go to some nets and try to bowl fast. Now, if you've got a natural aptitude to bowl fast, then let yourself go and try to bowl fast. And then you find out about the principles of action and go from there.
So I think about swing and about moving the ball off the seam. Let's start with the swing. Which way do I hold the ball to start off?
Well, if I can use this one, the red and white, for an example, for the outswinger, if you've got the seam must always be upright. If you put your fingers on top and slightly apart but equidistant on the seam, that's the shiny side, we'll say the red side. You point that towards first slip, and now the varying degrees of angle there, you've got to pick what suits you. Thumb underneath the ball, some say right underneath on the seam, some say where it's comfortable. I say where it's comfortable, as long as it's comfortable for you to actually bowl the ball down and the seam will go down and hit on the seam, on the wicket or the pitch, then that's okay. There's no use holding it right under there and then the seam lands on the shiny side. So whatever's comfortable, slight angle, shiny side, that's an outswinger. Wrist slightly that way, not tipped either way, but just slightly that side like that. For the in-swinger, totally opposite. So shiny side that side, seam in towards, say, leg slip, or towards the batsman's legs, and then slightly move the wrist in that way. And that's the basic grip for in-swing and outswing. Obviously then you've got to look at a different target area for both of those. No use looking at the off stump, which works for an outswinger, to bowl a good outswinger, because with an in-swinger it'll probably go down leg side. So you've got to adjust, maybe look 6 to 9 inches outside. But look there, don't put the ball there.
So Dennis, how do you build an action? Can you get one from a textbook?
Well, I think you've just got to be a bit careful that you're not overcoached. And what I worry about a lot of the times is that a lot of coaches are actually batsmen and they're getting it out of a textbook, so they don't actually know the feel of fast bowling, and that's dangerous. So, you know, obviously you've got to read a textbook or look at a video, but you've got to actually feel it yourself. So it's unfortunately it's not just theory. You've got to actually feel for fast bowling and run up as fast as you run up reasonably quick, get into a nice action, whether it's front on or side on. Let the ball go, see if you can bowl fast. And if you can bowl fast, go with it. Then you look at the other things on top of that. What do you see yourself as?
More chest on.
Chest on, okay.
Yeah, more chest on.
Chest on?
Side on.
Side on. Okay, so we've got a variety here. We'll have a look at your bowl now, and I'll decide, I'll have a look and see what I think you are, either front on or chest on. I look at your feet, obviously your arms, everything like that, and then I decide, look, you should pursue front on, or give you the option. I think you're more likely to succeed as front on than side on, or vice versa. Okay, stretch, first of all, good stretch, jog around, jog right around, go up to there and back twice. Stretch, good stretch when you come back, and then we'll get into it. Okay, so nice and quickly, loosen right up. By and large, the static warm-up is the one where you stretch and hold for, what, 7 to 10 seconds. Then there's what I call a mobile warm-up. which has been, unfortunately, has been left a bit because people do the static. And they do a static warm-up, then they sit down for 15, 20 minutes, then they think they can bowl quick. What you must do just before you bowl is then do these mobile stretches, whether they be the arms moving, but you know, all that sort of stuff, a little bit of that, not too far because that can cause problem, but just to keep it moving, right? A little bit of jogging on the spot, right? Lifting the legs up high, just pushing the hamstring just down a bit, but don't go pushing hard, just to give it a bit of a stretch. And then what I call just a nice little soft bowling. Those, just do about half a dozen to 10 of those. All right, so that's your warm-up. Stretch, warm-up. Two separate things. Don't ever bounce when you're doing a stretch. See, he's doing it right, you're doing it right. When you're doing a stretch like that, don't bounce it. That's when you can get problems. So if you're doing a static stretch, it is just that, static. If you're doing a warm-up, then you start to move through and use all the muscles in a movement. So it's a more a mobile, I call it a mobile stretch. So do your static stretch, then you get into your mobile stretch. Now, when you feel pretty warmed up, a bit of a jog on the spot, right, as long as if you stretch your quads, hammies, calf, all that. Obviously now mobile, so you'll get the arms and everything moving. You maybe just a bit of that, but not really extending, but just moving it, just getting everything going, moving it around, all that sort of stuff, just to get everything moving. But don't put a lot of pressure on. Now, once you're right, now do some mobile, what I call those, you've started your mobile stretches, then do your actual action. But very gently, walk 3 or 4 paces and just bowl gently. Okay, let's see that. Just individually, yeah. It's very steady to start with. Very steady to start with. So 6 to 10 of those, building up. Okay, lads, what I want to explain to you is there are 2 accepted actions. Now, once that, you know, it was only you've got to get side on. We've found out that through university tests and a lot of work with guys that that's wrong. There are 2 accepted actions. One is totally side on, or almost. I mean, as good as you can, as close as you can to side on. That's fine. With the body, everything is side on, like a cartwheel or a tyre, side on. The other is fully front on. So at the wicket here, you're either side on or you are chest on or front on down the wicket to the batsman. No in between. Where we're getting problems nowadays is what we call mixed actions. So a mixed action will be a guy that is basically, say his arm is out here, right? But his foot's around there, and then he falls out here, or pulls his arm out there, and then he's got a bowl over there. Now that is a mixed action, problems with the back. Another mixed action is a guy who has back foot is ready or in position for front on, so chest on, and his other foot should go there, and what happens is his other foot goes over there. Now you can see again, there's a problem. So that's a mixed action. That is a mixed action, where that foot's around for front on and that's around for side on. Again, mixed action. Another one where there are problems are the man that gets very side on and then he throws that foot over there, right over here. He's over there and then he's got a bowl around there. Again, you can see the twist on the back. Now, a lot of medium pacers will get away with that because they tend to get there and then they swivel a bit like that. But as a fast bowler, and I'm talking fast, to get there and then come over there, the problem is that back thing, right? He's got to twist around like that. Now, eventually he'll break down. So keep those, there's other examples, but keep those in mind. No mixed actions. So you're totally side on and looking at the batsman just slightly through that side here, okay? So just outside that elbow, That's your side on basically, and your front on is arm out here looking inside, right, and the body straight through there, and feet looking, or feet facing down the wicket. So they're the two, right?
How important is the follow-through?
Follow-through is very important, both with a side-on action and a front-on action. You must follow through. You never see a sprinter hit the tape and then stop dead. But you often see a fast bowler or a medium-pace bowler bowl the ball and then he stops within a foot or two or 2 or 3 feet. And I mean, that's silly because the follow-through is an extension of your action. And that ensures that everything else works like swing, cut, seam, plus pace.
Let's have an actual example now then. How did Dennis Lillee first pick up a ball and bowl, and how did you become a fast bowler?
I can't think that far back, Tony. I think fast bowling, I love cricket. You've got to have a love for the game. Fast bowling excited me. I think that to see Wes Hall, Fred Truman, Davidson, and unfortunately didn't see Linwell and Miller and these guys because it was a bit later than that. But to see them running in and bowl fast, I thought I want to do that. And then as a young kid, I got out in the playground with my mates at school and ran in and bowled as fast as I could. Obviously, there wasn't much thought to action at that stage. As I got a bit older, there was no videos around then, but I went back to textbooks. And I read about it. I watched foot placement. I watched where you should have your arms, where you should have your front arm, how you should follow through, where you should look, that sort of thing. And then I took the book out with me on the lawn, in the back garden, and actually tried to put it into action. And then, to make sure I was doing it right, I spent hours in front of a mirror, not looking at myself, but actually watching my action to see if it was right. And I think those things, maybe we should go back to those things rather than just watch a video and think, yeah, yes, I bowl like that. If you can see yourself doing it in a mirror or get yourself videoed, then you can see that things are right or wrong.
Why don't countries produce fast bowlers regularly then?
I think things become fashionable. I think straight after, you know, a Hall era and Griffiths era, we've had heaps of fast bowlers in the West Indies. Same in Australia after Linwell, Miller, you know, the guys came through. They might take some time because they're young kids when they're infatuated by fast bowling, so 10, 15 years later. Same with spin bowling and batting. Whatever's popular at the time, guys imitate and want to be their heroes, and then you see the spate of leg spin or off spin or whatever. Fast bowling's a lot harder. It's a lot harder on your body. Guys have got to want to do it right there in their heart. And maybe nowadays we've gone through a fairly easy lifestyle, let's say, for the last 20-odd years, and maybe guys don't feel hungry enough and aggressive enough and want it in their heart enough to bowl fast. I don't know. I don't know why we haven't had a spate of them coming through. But I've just been having a look around the world at fast bowling, and by and large, if you get there and coach it and the kids have got it in them, then you'll see fast bowling come through. But if you just let it evolve, it'll go through these, what I call waves. There's a down, and there's not many, then there's a wave where it builds up, and then there's that trough and whatever. So maybe we've got to get out there and coach them a lot more.
Over your career, your style changed. In fact, you were rather a tearaway at first and then became much more controlled, but still quick.
Yes, I think that was the thing that obviously to start with, I thought, well, run in as fast as you can and you'll bowl fast. And obviously now I realise that was wrong. I didn't have much coaching in my day. But later on, when I had problems with my back, I had to actually assess bowling a lot more, study the action, go to the university, do tests and things like that. And I found out that by and large, later on, once you've established you can bowl fast, then you've got to look at the other things, like, you know, obviously bowling a bit more within yourself from time to time, looking for batsmen's weaknesses and all that. So, you know, by and large, if you've got that ability to bowl quick, I say bowl very quick, and the other things will follow once you put a lot more things into practice. But don't try and bowl just line and length as a really fast bowler because your captain wants to save runs. You know, if you've got an asset to bowl quick, bowl quick. You can steady down and bowl off a shorter run later.
What about fitness, stamina?
Very important. Nowadays, in the old days, it was get out on the field or on the roads and run lots of miles and do some sprinting and, you know, some sit-ups, push-ups and things like that. Nowadays, we do a lot more what we call cross-training and strength training. Now, cross-training can be various things like bike riding, some running, long distance, some sprint work, some swimming in the pool, to any sorts of aerobic type of exercises. Girls do aerobics, men do aerobics, you can do that sort of thing. Then we do specific strength training for shoulders, stomach, sides, oblique muscles, legs, those sorts of things, and that is done in the gym. And you have to get someone who knows what they're talking about specifically for fast bowling strength work. But by and large, cross-training is very good. It gives you a variety, but it gives you aerobic and anaerobic workout, and that's what you're after.
Another word associated with fast bowlers is aggression. Are you born with that, or can you buy that in a book?
Just before we get onto that, I'd like to just get also back to the thing we're talking about with training. We tend to now get away from bowling 4 or 5 nights in the nets. 2 or 3 is enough. Bowl for your 3/4 of an hour to an hour in the nets, and then do your other workout for your cross-training and things like that. So I just wanted to make sure people realise that. Then getting on the aggression thing, I don't know. I look at my mother and she's not aggressive. I look at my father, he's not aggressive. I don't know where I got it from. I think it's just, a lot of it is a will to win. And I think if you want it enough, then you have this thing built inside you where you think, well, you know, I want this, and this batsman's standing in my way. He's in the way of our team's success. So, you know, you build up an aggression towards the guy to make sure that he's walking off to the pavilion. Now, you don't see it as a personal thing. Hopefully you can just contain it to the fact that he is a batsman. You don't want him to feel comfortable there. You know, maybe at times it's gone a bit too far, and I think that the umpires have got to control that, and that's where they play a big role. I know when I, a few times, maybe got a bit too excited and said maybe a bit too much, umpires would speak to me, and then you'd stop it. And I think umpires have got to be very strong with this. Front-on bowlers, by and large, there's very little rock back. It's just a little bit of rock back sometimes, but a lot of them just follow through. Now, when you go to get side on, you're actually twisting your body around to get side on. Don't pull your arm across and don't pull your leg across. When you get side on, you toe in that second last step. Then you jump up like that and jump slightly back to get into a slight rock back position. So you're there and trying to get back there. From there, you're looking straight down the wicket, left leg up high, left arm up high, pulling through, snapping down with that arm and leg, pulling through there and pulling your hip through, so you almost come side on again, through there, almost scraping the ground with that arm, let your body come through like that, and then when you're finished, pull up when it feels comfortable. You never see a sprinter, he never stops when he hits the tape. But you see a lot of bowlers bowl, and that's it. Well, that's silly, okay? So you let your body go through. Now, for front-on, a front-on bowler doesn't try to jump around. He's running in straight like that. He just wants to hit the crease and run through with a nice action in with it. So the front-on bowler basically he's there, so he just runs through. Using the left arm again, but it's out here, right, and using the body to pull through, but not a lot of rock back. What I want you to do is to work out a perfect run-up, and when you've got that right, what I get you to do is normal walking paces. So whether you take it from here, right, so if you toe the line here as though it's your starting point there, walk to it as though it's normal walking in a day, when you're walking down the street. So from there, make sure you toe it, it's got to be right on. So if you, normal walking strides, toe, and just walk normally. So then say your run-up, it's 25 there, and one boot, do that, and mark it, put your marker down. That's how you do it. Now, in theory, that should be fine all the time. But guys that run up and do, you know, they run and then jump and all that sort of thing, it changes every time. Every time you go, you do a different, you start a different spell. Every day is different, every practice, every type of wicket, whatever. So you've got to have something that you can relate to as a normal walking stride every day. Your walking stride rarely changes, but your running stride can change from hour to hour, day to day, different weather, whatever, different type of surface. Okay, so by and large, if you can walk it out, you've got more chance of it being right. So just walk your arms out now. Do you walk yours out?
I pace it, yeah.
Pace it out. But try and make it normal walking paces rather than sort of stiff-legged or whatever you tend to do.
Do that.
Good lad. Okay, whatever's normal. See, normal walking, that's how he walks down the street. That's how I want it. Same with you guys, okay? So, but you normally run it, do you?
Yeah, no, I walk it back and start from there.
That's fine. I used to too. That's fine. Yeah, whatever suits you. But remember, start the same place every time.
Yeah.
That's most important. You obviously say, okay, about 4 or 5 inches or whatever it is in centimetres, start from there. Yeah, but I don't like that. So you've did it, what I'm saying is each day your first one will be different. It might only be that much, but that might be the difference through going over. So what I'd rather you do, okay, do that now and mark it out, right, how you do normally now, and when you mark it out, we'll get you to walk normally and then we'll get you a new one. So just how you normally do, yeah. See, I can't imagine him walking down the street like that, can you? I mean, it's reasonably cool, but not that cool. Maybe, you know, sort of in a late night somewhere and you're walking home like that, but not normally. Okay, so that's your normal one. What I'd rather you do now is toe that, right, but come back from here and use whichever foot you use, say left foot. Walk to it as your normal, and then it's just normal walking paces. Okay, so do that and I'll show you at the end. If you can do that now, and I'll show you how to adjust it at the end. Yeah, just a normal walk, toe your mark, and now, but just walk to it normally. So if you go, just your normal walk as you walk down the street every day. That's it, and just keep going, that's fine, terrific. See, that doesn't vary much over your lifetime. So just walk that. When you get to the end, we'll show you how to adjust it. So just keep walking. Don't try and adjust. Okay, how many? 22 plus, you know, you just mark it out. What is it? It's 3 inches or so many centimetres. Okay, so 22. Now walk the other way, towing that, and see if you get the same. Just normal walking. No. See, now, you must always toe the line. And walk back from there, right? Like I said, so you go, well, see, I didn't tow it. So you must tow it, so it's there, normal walking. So let's see you do that. Just normal, don't, yeah, good. Just normally walk right to the end, see if you get the same result. Almost, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so you'll find after a while, you practice that all the time, and you'll find after a while you get the same walking stride, and you'll find it'll be right. Yeah. Okay, so then that saves all this and all that sort of stuff, which varies all the time. Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Who are some of the batsmen you respected greatly, and what did they have that you can recommend to young batsmen now?
I think the ones I respected more than any others were ones that could take you on. In other words, they're prepared to attack you. Okay, they're taking a bit more risk than the guy that's prepared to sit on you and wait and play the game of wearing you down. That's fine, and maybe one guy in a team has to do that. But the guys that I really respect were the guys that took you on, like your Greg Chappells, your Richards, both Richards, Sobers, your Canais, your Lloyds, and I could keep going, and I'll probably miss some. Greenwich, Fredericks, Tony Gregg, you know, all those sorts of guys, Gower, Lamb. The guys that took you on, took a risk, but took you on, and they're the ones to me that, you know, you're never worried about them, but you respect them because they're really out there to try to win a match and to try and take you on and put you out of the attack. And those guys are rare, And when you see them, then you're seeing something happen.
See, I guess then it's that fast bowlers of great experience, as you have, would be good coaches of batsmen, because isn't your prime concern one of reading batsmen?
That's a very good point, Tony, and I don't believe that batsmen can coach fast bowlers in the art of fast bowling. I think they find it very difficult because they've never experienced it. Now, all bowlers bat often not very well, but the thing about a bowler has to look at batsman's for his weaknesses. He's got to watch his feet movement, he's got to watch where his front foot, back foot, watch his grip, watch where his head goes, all those sorts of things, and then work out some sort of way of getting him out. In other words, you've got to find his weakness and then decide how you're going to attack it. Are you going to go for it all the time, or are you going to set it up and then go for what I call the kill, that is the one to try and get him out? Now, that in fact can make a fast bowler, and any bowler, a very good coach of batsmen. And I think that you've got to bear that in mind when you as a bowler are being coached by a batsman. Be very wary, the guy hasn't actually experienced it, so he really doesn't know what it feels like. And it is, as I said from the start, fast bowling is a feel thing. Okay, you're basically front on, your back foot is in the front on position and your front foot is in the front on position. You've got to be very careful that when you're running in, you don't try and get your body around, because it's counterproductive. What you've got to do is, if you're going to jump, which you tend to, jump, but stay in the front on position. If I can explain it, it's hard to do it left-handed, but if I can explain right-handed, don't try and pull your body around, because your action and your feet are in the front on position. When you're doing that, all you're doing is washing off speed. What you've got to do is, if you're going to jump, and that's fine, I don't think there's anything against jumping as such, but there is against jumping and turning around, because then you just got to come back to the other position. Right. So you're running in front on, you try and jump around, then you've got to come back to front on again. Okay. So all you've got to do is, if you're going to jump, just jump straight. Don't try and turn around. All right? Good lad. Well, bowl. No, it's good. Should put a bit more into it, though. Okay. Again, don't try to jump around. All right, you're front on, so it's just there and there. Okay. Instead, don't try and jump around. All right. So try and go straight through. Good lad, that's good. Much better. That would have felt a bit different probably, did it? Yeah. But it looked... All right, but it looked really good. Okay, so it'll come. Remember, you've been bowling for 30 years the other way, okay? No, 20, sorry. Good lad. Now then, you didn't try and get around, did you? You still can just put a bit, you still got to put a bit into it, but you don't try and get around. That was really good. Yeah. Okay, straight through, don't try and turn around. Good lad, very good. Very good. See, now you're not stopping your momentum, you're actually just continuing through, and that's a lot better. Feels a bit different, doesn't it? But it's good. And you're taking all that pressure off your back. Now straight through, don't try to get side on. Good lad. Just remember though, if you want to bowl, were you trying to bowl away then? Straight one. Okay, well just remember, don't fall out that way. Now one of the reasons you fall out is if you take your arm there instead of here, because you were trying to get around, don't try and do that. You're basically front on, arm up there and look just inside here. Pull it straight down. Don't pull that, once you do that, look what happens. Yeah. Biomechanics, you go out that way. So everything has got to be straight down, straight in here, all right? Good lad.
What about the famous bouncer? I mean, big part of your armoury, but I guess used with great judgment and depending on who's standing 22 yards away from you.
Yes, I mean, a bouncer is designed to obviously get a batsman on the back foot. It's designed for him to try and get him to make a mistake, either in hooking or fending the ball, or ducking or trying to get out the way. You're trying to create a mistake. It's just like a Yorker, you're trying to create a mistake, or a good outswinger. So, by and large, it's got to be used at the right moment. It's got to be a very good one, it's got to be in the right position. Now, the right position can vary from chest, for some players, to 1 foot above the head. Now, if he's a compulsive hooker, then a foot or so above the head, or 6 inches or a foot above the head, means he's trying to pull the ball down and then you've got a chance of getting him out. If he's a guy that ducks, then chest high is obviously the ideal bouncer. If he's a guy that likes to have a hook and pull the ball at any stage, but from, say, about head high, a la Ian Chappell, then you might put it further out, but head high, and try and get him to drag it around to make a mistake. So it's got to be, it's not, a bouncer isn't just bowling a ball short. It's thinking about where you put it and why you're doing it. Straight up with that arm and straight down. Good lad. Now, the reason that went leg side is because in the past, you've gone like that and pulled it over, and you've actually pushed the ball across. Now, you're going like that and you're pulling in a straight line down there. All you've got to do now is you change your body angle, your run up, just your angle slightly here. So change it on a slight more of an angle to bowl to a right-hander. So you're running straight towards that white ball.
Okay.
So you're running to about first slip, all right? And then watch where you're going to bowl. Pick out a spot. I usually use the base of the off stump as a starter.
Okay.
Then come up and down it and across either way. But always watch a mark or a spot.
Yeah.
The stumps is the best place. So base of the off stump, find out if that's a good length for you. If not, up to get higher or further up,
yeah, and
down in front of it to get a shorter length. So, all right, use that as your guide. But you must always watch on the way in. Now, I'll guarantee if you change your angle a bit now and run towards first slip and watch, say, that far outside off stump, then it should, if it doesn't swing, it should stay about there. Good lad. Just a little bit here. You're tending to, when you bowl, you're just tending to do that, all right? Yeah. Even though you're front on rather than side on, you still come through there, okay? So really pulling down. Yeah. So you've got to pull down with that arm and really pull through there. Let's try that this time. You'll find it'll pull your length down a little bit too. But then you can adjust that later. Same with you, if you can just, when you've bowled, if you can really come through there, that'll help a bit. But at the moment you're, just come across this, at the moment what you're doing, if I can show you here, right? At the moment what you're doing is you're tending to bowl and you're finished. Really extend through there. Okay, so if it's the outswinger through there, in-swinger down there. That's looking quite good, but you just really got to bend your back. See, a lot of people think once the ball goes out of their hand, that's the end of it. It's not. You've really got to come through there. Okay, straight up, run through to first slip. Hey, look at that. Spot on, good pace, and it actually came back in a bit. So, it just proves if you use all those principles, it works. Perfect ball. Don't mention it. Send me a postcard. Okay, straight up with that left arm, straight down, follow through. Good lad, look at that. A little bit of movement. You weren't getting that before. That's because you're following through down there. All right? It's very good.
In big matches, and I mean not only test matches, but big club matches, there'll be bowlers which are, as I say, pumped up, and suddenly they lose it all. They tear in, and it's, on big occasions, did you have any pre-match rules where you conducted yourself or thought about it?
Yes, my big rule was do what you'd normally do. Don't upset your routine. If I had to go out and mow the lawn It was time to be done on a Saturday morning before a game. I went out there and mowed the lawn. What a good warm-up. If you're fit, good warm-up. And it's doing things, keeping away from worrying about what's going to happen when you get out there. You cannot control what happens when you get out there beforehand. It's only when you're there. So obviously you'll be thinking a bit about the game, but don't do things like sit around on a couch and try and, you know, go through it too much, because often you've run the game before it gets there, and once you get there, it's almost sort of a letdown. So do your normal things. Go through a normal routine. You'll get nervous. I normally felt nervous when I first woke up in the morning, then I started doing things. The next time I was nervous was in the car driving there, and then when I got there, all the mates, so you start talking. Next time I was nervous was 5-10 minutes before I went out to bowl. Then I warmed up inside the dressing room and started to get going. Next time I was nervous was just the first ball, then it all went. Then it was hard work.
The thought came to me about equipment. Quite a few young lads asked, well, what boots do I wear? And I've noticed boots getting lighter and lighter, even for fast bowling. Did you have any special feeling about boots that you wore yourself?
By and large, when I was bowling fast, I tried to have the higher cut boot. And I like them light, but higher cut. I like them with a wedge or a chip of rubber in them for the heel and just down a little bit, but mainly the heel. A good spread of sprigs, 4 on the heel, and probably about 8 to 9 on the front, but a good spread of sprigs. And I liked a good inner sole. Now, I went and got mine made by the orthopaedic people, and I think if you're going to be a serious fast bowler, you should think about that, get it made for your foot. But they're the basic principles.
And extra thoughts on fitness and the way the cricketers should look after themselves, especially with regard to injury, of course. How do you repair yourself?
Well, I think I always thought of stretching as a bit of an insurance policy. If you stretch beforehand, then you're getting your muscles prepared to bowl. I do a static stretch and then a mobile stretch, as we talked about and you'll see on the video. The other thing is, at the end of the day's play, do a stretch down as soon as you can afterwards. Stretch all those, do those same stretches again to stretch, to lengthen those muscles again. Because what happens when you work out, your muscles shorten. If you stretch them back out again, they go back as far as possible to where they should be. Another thing is getting a nice hot bath or a spa or a massage, and then follow that by a very cold bath or shower, and that gets the toxins out of the body. So they're very important things. What I did quite a few times, and I recommend to fast bowlers nowadays, is after you've bowled, if you can get into a pool, a swimming pool, for 15 minutes and swim, then you'll find that also helps stop the stiffening up of your body. It loosens your body up again, obviously moving all the parts that were moving when you were bowling. So I recommend that as well. But don't do it spasmodically. You know, make sure you do it every 2-3 days. And, you know, if you try and swim for 15-20 minutes and then the next day or the day after you got a bowl and you haven't been swimming, you'll find that you've got different muscles have got tired. So you've got to do it all the time. In swinger, out swinger, what? Okay, get your grip right, seam right, shine the right side, down through there. Watch the base of the off stump. Follow through. Good lad, very good. Just be aware of really coming through down there. Are you watching the base of the off stump? Yeah. Okay, that might be a bit high for you. What I'll get you to do is come down in front, look down, can you see the little shadow, the first little shadow in front of off stump and middle? See that? Yeah. I want you to watch that spot down from the off stump. Yeah. So you pick a spot off stump and then come down a bit and you'll find your bowl just a bit shorter than you were then. Don't put it there. That's just your target area. You actually still bowl the same. Okay, let's go. Concentrate, up, follow through. Good lad, perfect again. This has become monotonous, you'll be getting wickets all over the place. Okay, same thing, left arm up straight, straight down, follow through. Okay, then you went to about there and the ball faded down leg side. You've still got to come right through there, even though you're front on rather than side on. So don't curve it like that, just come through there. Yep. Pull down there, that leg, pull down that left-hand side. And it actually, when you do it, you pull your body through a bit, your hip comes through too. It's all part of the action. You don't leave your body behind. Straight up. Beautiful. Look at that length now. Now we've got you online, we've sorted your length out, we're getting a little bit more nip out of it. That's really good. It's okay? So now, if you watch that spot, you'll find that by and large on this sort of wicket is a good length. Yeah. Different wickets, you've got to adjust where you look. Right. So on a slower wicket, you might have to come a little bit further back. Yeah. But what I want you to do is the things you've got to think about is target. Yeah. So I've got you now watching a target, adjusting your target for different wickets, for different batsmen. For a shorter ball, more full, yeah. You vary that. You want to bowl it wider, yeah. Or whatever you come across. Use the stumps, yeah. And then find your spot. But you must focus every time, most important. And then it's a matter of all your follow-throughs, either in-swinger, out-swinger, that sort of thing. Okay. Very good. Come on, Steve, let's see another one. Just look a bit further down in front of the wicket there. I want it a little bit shorter. Good lad, just a bit too far up. You actually put that ball there. Don't fall for the... If you're trying to hit a spot, don't put it there. You just adjust where you're looking, okay? Don't try to put it where you're adjusting your sights. That's just a target, that's a focus. Still bowl with the same action, and your eyes, the level where you put your eyes will adjust where the length is. Don't try and adjust the length with your action. That's fraught with danger. Oh, beautiful ball. Beautiful ball. Lovely outswing. Beautiful length. Good pace. Okay, that was a great follow-through, wasn't it? See what happens? Fantastic. Still not bending, all right? Delivering, and that's it. If you can really come down through there, you'll get a little bit more pace, a bit more bounce, everything. So you've got to concentrate on that. It's called bending your back. You've heard that thing, bend your back? Yeah. Okay. Now, don't tell me you've got a steel plate in it now because you have all the doctors on me. But, you know, you must really use it. And follow through. Run down the wicket. Look at that. Hey, great length that, Steve. Very difficult to play that ball. Okay, so now, from being a bit further up, you've come a yard shorter, you've made it more difficult for this player on this sort of wicket. So you've got to think all the time about the different things. Where's my notes? I can just sort of quickly have a look and see if I've got it all. Oh, hey, look at the follow through now. See the difference? When you were bowling there and they were coming out just nicely, and they were pretty sharp, you were actually finishing about here. Yeah. Now, you finish up right near the batsman, and that's because you really came down through there. That's what you've got to be very aware of. Now, why run in, yeah. Come over this side here, why run in 30 yards yeah. And then just go like that and put the ball there? Why not really let it go? Yeah. That's the idea of bowling fast. If you can bowl fast, bowl fast. Okay, don't try and put the ball on the spot and do something. That can come later. If you've got an exceptional pace, like you guys have got pace, use the pace. Yeah. All right? And then you can, later on, you can start to use the ball. Right. Well, that was very good. Now, that's a beauty. The three of you have really improved in this 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and that's very encouraging. Fast bowling is very basic. The two actions are acceptable, very acceptable. You've got to make sure you perfect those two actions, whether you're front on or side on, you perfect them. Target area, good rhythm in run-up. Watch the target, don't try and put the ball there. Bowl with that action, right? And project the ball through, not to the batsman, project it through to the keeper. So to bowl fast, project it through. Grips and all that sort of thing we've discussed. But by and large, that's the type of action we're after, side on or front on, and they're the principles. So don't be overcoached and don't be confused by a lot of different things. Keep it simple, keep it basic. It is basic, so remember that. But work on those principles. Now, the other thing is, of course, what length to bowl and when. Now, that varies according to the batsman, whether he's basically a front footer or back footer, as to where you bowl. You watch his feet, you watch where he ends up when he's played his shot. Some guys fall over like that. You watch all that sort of stuff, and then you decide what sort of length and direction, obviously, you bowl to that guy. Then you've got to decide, are you going to attack his